welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, guys, so I'm going to get at it. And I do have to say that tanks are typically easier to level. No doubt about it. You know, there's not a lot of games that are RPG based if they have the Holy Trinity that you are going to see somebody being like, there's too many tanks. That doesn't happen because there's usually a shortage of tanks. I think there's a lot of animosity for players who typically play MMOs to try and tank because there's a lot you know involved with tanking. I understand that fundamentally speaking, but a lot of people also like to play DPS. So a lot of people are like, I want a DPS, I want a DPS, I want a DPS. So there's not a lot of glamour in tanking, but at the same time, tanks, really good tanks, are appreciated, typically. Okay, I'm on the C team. No main tanking for me. So I can put on my Shield Oath for now. Now, with the upcoming changes in Shadowbringers, a lot of people are like, oh, getting aggro is going to be easy because all you have to do is just throw in your stance and you'll generate threat. That's great, unless you're in a raid. And if you're in a raid, you don't necessarily want to generate threat. I know there's a lot of different elements to this, but typically, if I'm going to off tank, right, or let's say I have to tank swap, I want the MT to drop their threat generation. And that actually I'm going to hit the Shield Oath for this one because I will be pulling. Something's up with my macro. I gotta check that. I thought I could swore I put the anticipation on my follow-up. No biggie if I didn't, but okay, we're gonna drop to the Shield Oath. Now I'll be positioned with the other tank. So I'm just going to go ahead and come over on this side. Let him do the main tanking. Back out. Back in. I'm going to keep the debuff up. If I see an ad, then obviously I want in on that. Let's see if I did it this way. I did. And I'm fine with that. I don't want to be right on top of him. I kind of want to be on the side of him. So typically when I'm off tanking any game, I want to make sure that I let the main tank do his job. I don't, put him in a compromised position because if he has to kite, I got to be aware of ads. So once again, we're going to do ad phase. So I'm going to put up my shield oath. One second. Okay. So once again, see the main tank over here. I'm going to try to kite any of the clones. Going to throw up my shield oath. I'm going to single target threat pull. Just so and nobody on my team takes the damage or the blunt of the damage. So if I take the shock, it's no biggie. So this style, I want most people to think about it. You need to generate threat, keep your stance up. You don't need to generate threat, keep it down. Get in that habit. Okay, so once again, so typically like with Shadowbringers, I'm not going to have anything on because sort of it's going to be gone. Up, except I hit the wrong button. You should be able to generate. Once again, tanks and healers do not do significant amounts of damage. And it's going to get worse. There is a nerf coming to all the classes, like the protection. Why is protection gone? Well, I'll tell you why. To keep healers more busy. Okay. Yo, Lord, what's up? I've been getting into Final Fantasy 14, playing tank and melee DPS. Nice, dude. What server are you on, Lord? What server did you get on, brother? Tanking in this game's pretty good. I have no complaints. Okay, now I'm going to drop. And because I know the main tank's going to take the dragon. Actually, I do have add phase. So I'll start off with some DPS, and then I'll switch. Actually, it's right here. I'm going to bring them right on top so the DPS can AoE. Now, times like this, you do want to stack up just in case you take the aggro. But like me kiting on top of the boss so the DPS could keep the AoEs up, really, really smart move there. Animatos. Okay, I'm on Cyrene, so we're gonna have to get together sometime, brother. We definitely have to. We definitely have to hook up sometime. Okay, once again, I'm going to go into now. Remember, Shadowbringers comes out, drop the stance if you're not emptying it. But if you're going to pick up ads, you want to make sure that stance goes up. Why? Because you're going to be required to pick up ads. Now, a lot of tanks don't end up picking up ads in these type of situations in this game, which I don't understand. I don't get that. I'm definitely a person who's going to be doing that. So, as you guys can see, there's going to be ad phases, and I need to be on top of my job here. I don't want to aggro the boss. The only thing I want to do is pick up the ads. And then I want to try to stack them up. I don't want any of these ads like messing with my group. That tank's on that dude, I think. So I think we're good to go. We want to pay attention to the ice phase as well. Okay, it should be coming up. Okay, I want to stack up behind. Good positioning on the ice phase. Curtain call. Okay, now we're going to go back to DPS and we're going for the burn phase. Hit that provoke by accident, but... Okay, good shit. Have you been using the macros there, by the way, man, Lord? And how you liking it? That's another question. Because I think the tanking in this game's interesting, you know? It's not so bad, you know, I'm familiar with a lot of, you know, tanking in other MMOs. I actually like the macro system. And the combos aren't too hard to get. You know, with the upcoming changes to Shadowbringers, I think tanking is going to be definitely more streamlined. So, no ads here. So basically, I'm just going to stay beside the tank. I don't want to take his thunder. Only thing I want to do is try to get a little bit more DPS out, keep the debuffs on. And the reason you want to always be positioned right beside the other tank, if he were to accidentally drop, you're picking up right where he left off. Or if there's going to be a tank swap, he's just going to drop threat And when he drops threat, it's just going to be an easy transition to pick up. Okay, I'm going to hit him with the debuff now. I'm going to stack the defenses. I don't know if the other tanks should still be here. Yep. Once again, I'm not trying to steal his thunder. I will slightly move right across from him. Okay, once again, I'm going to reposition myself. You can always see where the other tank is, typically, but you want to stay in these circles as well. Okay, debuff. Good shit. And I leveled up. All right. I haven't figured out the macros much, and I do enjoy the game. Thank you, man. That's great to hear. Barely started, really. Just 1 month after getting a new PC. Ooh, dude, nice. Grats, man. I'm jealous. I've refurbished mine. You know, I put a new Mobo in, upgraded the RAM. You know, only thing and the CPU. Only thing I haven't done is the GPU. So I have a 3.8 processor. I'm happy with that. 8 core. I'm more than happy. I don't have like a 4.2. I don't feel like I need it or justify it. It's fine. But, you know, I'm cool with it. I can play majority of games. Majority. You know, like a lot. But, you know, I'm sure there's like, you know, if I want the Uber, like there's a computer my friend has and he just, man, he went overboard. I was like, dude, you are fanatical. All right. So I'm going to do another run. I'm going to get into the level 50, 60. It'll just be good XP and a good, you know, starting point. Now, I will be doing configurations, Lord, so you'll be able to, you know, see how I do my macros. I think everybody's going to be different, so you might want how you apply your defensive abilities might differ from me, but at least it'll give you an idea of how you might want to configure your macros later in the future. A lot of people in this game like frown on certain macro systems, and when it comes to comboing, you definitely want to be leery or try to stray away from comboing your macros because of the GCD. Everything that comes off the GCD, and it kind of gets a little glitched up. But if on personal CDs, it works great. So on like, as long as it's not off the global cooldown and there's just a personal cooldown associated, sequencing makes the game, it makes it so well worth macroing. And the management and the control you're going to have is phenomenal, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Now, also, I'm sure you've noticed that you're getting a lot of Qs. Like, tanks don't have a big problem getting Qs. Also, personally, like I started out with the warrior, love the warrior. Paladin's good too, and dark, I love Dark Knight animation. Once again, I'm going to eat my roll. Even though I got 9 minutes, I don't want to drop that. Going to hit my shield oath. You want to make sure you're in your stance in dungeon. Sometimes I make that mistake. Now what I always do, I have the macro set up. Now this is the problem with DPS. Now once I have this, I'm going to chain pull it. And then I'm always just moving in and out of my... I want to restack all of my abilities again. And as you can see from the group bar, nobody else has got the aggro. So I'm holding pretty good. And I do like to chain pull a lot. A lot of people, I don't make the recommendation of chain pulling until you're comfortable. This is where a lot of trust has to come into play. I've got to trust that healer to know when to throw those heals. And this is going to change dramatically in Shadowbringers. Because that protect is gone. That 3% is out the window. We're going to have more interruptibles as tanks, I feel. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that tanks are given more interrupts. You know, things to do that keep some busy work. That's what I'm hoping for. Always after I pull, I turn. That's pretty, basic for every tank. Now, depending on placement, I might, then my health, I might decide to take a hit and not move out of the AoE, depending on what's going to hit me. Gonna hit it with the debuff really quick. stack up that, hit up that defense. All right. All right, looks good. Pass. I never get those anymore. Crafting material. Never know. Okay, once again, I'm going to chain pull this. Now I'm going to stop here because we have that ice thing right down there. Unless the healer lets me die. I don't know what happened. This is the aftermath of trying to... I've always said it. I'm always scared of healers and tanks. I can't wait for these changes. I honestly cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right, here we go. I wish the DPS wouldn't pull threat from me or try to pull while I'm in the middle of it, but thank God for macros. Thank God I didn't have to juggle. Thank God for that. And that's why you use macros. and that's why. Good shit. Hell yeah. Here we go. Nice. Alright, player accommodation. I'm going to give it up to the ninja. Always like that support. Adventures are done. Dude, we definitely got to get together, though. We definitely got to get together, Lord, at some time, man. Since you're on here, we got that new world visit system. I definitely got to, like, hook up with you sometime for sure. All right. So as you guys can see, I'm already almost 52. It doesn't take long to level tanks, and honestly, you can get quite a bit done. Like later on, I got to do. Most of this is all set for tanks. Most of your level boosting stuff is set to tanks. Now, you might want to level up new other jobs, and not saying that you wouldn't want to, obviously, because but tanks are always getting bonuses. You know, there's always a bonus out there for tanks. And if you're comfortable with playing a tank, I recommend trying tanking. But if you're not comfortable with tanking, build into it. Like this game, one thing I love about Final Fantasy 14, and I can honestly say this out of a lot of other MMOs that I have played, it is very progressive. Like you start off with no stance, for example, in your lower levels. You'll get your stance. You read your tooltip. It helps. Now, I honestly think a little bit, we have enmity here, which is aggro or threat in other games. But enmity is, it'll tell you on the tooltip, generates enmity or amenity, if you want to pronounce enmity, whatever. Amenity, which is your threat generation. It gives you in tooltip what it does. So this game is friendly when you're trying to learn a new role. It kind of takes you step by step. Kind of if you've never played a tank ever in it, like you've MMO'd for years, but you've never tanked, I can assure you that this is a game to become familiar and try tanking. It's not bad. It's pretty good. And if you have short amount of time on your hands because of real life, it's just another reason to get into tanking in Final Fantasy 14. Now I don't know what's all going to be incorporated with Shadowbringers with the new class, new role. I mean not class, new role quests. So I imagine that's going to, involve our MSQ progression, which, I'm glad that they're actually doing that. There's a lot of new changes coming forward in Shadowbringers, and I'm looking forward to all of it. I am really pumped up. I'm really hyped about it. I'm looking forward to everything that they're going to be introducing. It's a worthwhile game, man. And tanking in this game is rewarding, especially on your dailies. If you're going to try it, daily rewards for tanks, very well worth it. So I'll try it out. See for yourself. It might not be your cup of tea, but give it a try. Give it a chance. You never know until you try. All right? Just the way it is in life. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Lord, thank you for stopping in today, and congratulations and welcome to Final Fantasy 14. I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad you're playing it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I am. And, dude, we got to hook up. We got to get together. We got to play, man. We got to play sometime soon. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. Once again, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. As always, thank you. Have a nice day.